Oliver stands in the quiet bedroom, alone, the house empty. It's his girlfriend's house, but she's not due back from her business trip for several hours. The overnight bag rests discreetly by the bed. He kneels beside it, fingers brushing over the neatly folded garments inside. Knickers, bra, tights, heels. Each piece chosen, each piece deliberate. He's already hung up his dress. Black, plain, with a Peter Pan collar and white cuffs on short sleeves. A neat white apron with a frilled edge rests on the dress. He undresses slowly, folding his clothes with care. Jeans, shirt, underwear, everything set aside. Standing in nothing but his own skin and the soft cotton undergarments, he sits on the edge of the bed. The knickers and bra fit snugly, shaping him in a new way, introducing a softness he is unaccustomed to. Already he feels smaller, contained, vulnerable, and yet there is a thrill in the unfamiliarity. He opens his makeup kit, foundation first, the cool cream against his fingers, the sponge gliding over his jaw and cheeks. Shadows blur, lines soften. He studies the mirror, each brushstroke erases Oliver just a little more, replacing certainty with suggestion. Lipstick next, thick, waxy, a little greasy. He presses lips together, adjusts the stain. The sensation is alien, intimate, and he allows himself a small shiver of enjoyment. Finally, the wig a blonde bob. He lifts it carefully and slides it over his own hair. The fringe frames his face perfectly. He adjusts it slowly, mindfully. He is not Oliver anymore. He is becoming someone else. He rises, legs already clad in tights, feet poised over the low heels waiting on the floor. The sound of the heels against the wood is tentative at first. Clip, clop, then more confident as he practices a small circuit of the room. The rhythm reshapes him. Each step reinforces the posture, the restraint, the character he is stepping into. He lifts the dress off the hanger and slides his arms into the sleeves, the collar resting just so. He pauses at the back zip, hand hovering over the cool metal. A breath, a heartbeat. Then, slowly, deliberately, he pulls it up. Each millimeter of the zipper climbing his back feels like a surrender. His shoulders narrow, his chin drops slightly. His hands fall automatically to his apron strings. His spine straightens in alignment. The dress settles over the softness of his undergarments, the tights, the heels. The apron ties pull him inward, defining position. Marie stands before the mirror smaller, attentive, contained, ready. A final touch, perfume, Hannah's perfume, a careful spray, her scent. The scent is heavy, intimate, and intoxicating. It clings to the back of his throat, to the hollow of his collarbone. Every inhalation deepens the transformation. He studies himself in the mirror. He is no longer Oliver. He is Marie. No longer him. He is her. The posture, the clipped rhythm of his heels, the small hands folded in front, the lowered gaze when catching his reflection, all of it confirms the shift. Oliver is still there, somewhere in the background, observing, but he recedes. He has surrendered. He is contained. He is Marie. He inhales again, a long, steady breath. Marie steps toward the hallway. She does not take up space the way Oliver did. She inhabits the space differently, attentive, disciplined, aware. This is not performance. It is power surrendered. The transformation is complete. Marie is ready. Marie at work. Marie moves through the kitchen first. A bowl waits on the counter, apples and a knife at its side. She slices slowly, deliberately, each cut clean. Each apple piece laced neatly in the bowl. She wipes the counter after, smoothing it until the surface gleams. The faint click of heels against the tile reminds her of her posture. She bends, straightens, dusts the shelf just enough, not for perfection, but for intent. She boils the kettle and fills a teapot, lifts the tray from the shelf, arranges cups and saucers with exact care. The china is cold under her fingertips, the silver polished, reflective, almost intimidating. Marie pauses mid-step, listening to the silence of the empty house. Her chest rises and falls in time with the rhythm of the heels. There is satisfaction in the order she leaves behind. Each fold, each polished surface, each arranged cup, a physical affirmation of the role she has claimed. She carries the tray to the dining room. For imaginary guests, places it down gently, smooths the cloth, adjusts the napkins. Every gesture small, controlled. Then Marie's senses heighten in response to a faint noise in the hallway, a key turning in the front door lock. She freezes instantly, her heels no longer clicking on the hard floor. Her heart quickens. Her breath catches. She does not move, not forward, not backward. She is caught in that suspended moment between performance and reality. Suddenly the clothes she is wearing feel tight, constraining. The key turns. The door opens. Hannah's voice calls softly. "Hello?" she asks nervously. Who's there? Is that you, Oliver?" No reply. Hannah takes a tentative step down the hall, closer to the dining room, and spies a figure in there. Her eyes narrow. "Who are you? What are you doing?" she demands. Still no answer. The silence stretches. Hannah's eyes adjust, and she takes in the detail, the servant's outfit, the white apron, the faint scent of her own perfume. A familiarity in the silhouette. Recognition slowly dawns. Oh my God," she murmurs. Disbelief tugs at her face. She steps fully into the room, observing the figure cautiously. The hair frames the softened face. The dress and apron drape over familiar shoulders in a way that makes her heart catch. "Oliver?" she says finally, a choke of disbelief in her voice. Marie does not move. Not yet. She waits, still perfectly poised, her heels pressing lightly against the floor. Hannah laughs softly, shaking her head. "Is that really you? Wow. I know we had a joke about you cleaning up my place for me, but I never expected this. You took it seriously, didn't you?" she asks with a laugh in her voice. A long pause. Then Hannah leans casually against the doorway. "Well," she says, voice light but commanding, "don't stop on my account." Marie exhales silently, but can't let herself move. Hannah still watches, examining, smiling, amused, powerful. The dynamic between them has shifted without a word. Oliver, as Marie has surrendered, Hannah now holds the quiet, delicious authority. The name of surrender Marie's shoulders tense. Her chest rises and falls quickly. Her heels press into the floor. She opens her mouth. I'm sorry. I'll get changed," she whispers, voice small, uncertain, tinged with embarrassment. She moves to get past Hannah. Hannah raises a hand, stopping her mid-step. A smile quirks at the corner of her lips. "Oh no, you don't," she says softly, firmly. "You're staying like this." Marie freezes again. The thought of undoing the layers, of retreating into Oliver, flashes through her mind, the comfort of familiar clothes, familiar posture. Rewinding. But Hannah's calm, commanding presence holds her in place. Hannah lifts her phone from her bag and points the camera at Marie. A soft click. Another. Click. Security, she says lightly, showing Marie the screen. "In case you try to run off, or change your mind." I wonder who I could share these with. Marie swallows, heat rising under the foundation. The vulnerability, the exposure, the impossibility of retreat, it all hits at once. Hannah steps closer, tilting her head, studying Marie. The heels, the apron, the white collar, the makeup, taking it all in. "Do you have a name?" Hannah asks gently. "When you're dressed like this?" Marie hesitates. A faint shiver. She draws in a breath. "Marie," she says quietly. Hannah smiles, soft but decisive. "Marie," she repeats. The name feels right on her tongue, full of surrender, full of presence. From that moment, she does not speak Oliver's name. He is Marie now. Hannah steps back, amused, pleased, powerful. "Good. Marie," she says. "You stay like this for now. I like it." "The invitation, Marie," Hannah says softly, teasingly. This. I'm not cross. Not at all. In fact, I find it quite delightful. I have to admit, finding my boyfriend dressed as a housemaid, serving tea to imaginary guests, wasn't on my bingo card today. But you know what? Let's go with it. See where it takes. Hannah paused. "I wonder, how do you feel about sharing Marie with more than just me?" Marie freezes, tray held delicately. Her chest tightens. The words hang in the air. For a heartbeat, her eyes widen in silent horror. More than Hannah? The thought of being exposed, of being observed by others, strangers, sends a shiver down her spine. Her mind races. Everything she has surrendered to, everything she has embraced in private, would now be on display. And if she's recognized, you can't wind back the clock. Marie falters, her hands trembling. Hannah watches, amused, eyes sparkling. She takes a small step closer. "Yes, more than me. Friends. They'll see you. You'll serve us." Marie's first instinct is panic, her pulse quickening. But then, beneath the fear, beneath the embarrassment, something else rises. Whether it's stubbornness or submissiveness, who knows? But she wants this. She wants to surrender. Swallowing, she inclines her head, voice quiet but firm. Softly, she replies, "If it's what you'd like, I can do it. I want to do it for you." Marie looks Hannah in the eye, and for the first time, a small, shy smile crosses her lips. Hannah smiles broadly, pleased, eyes gleaming. "Excellent. Very well then. Friends will arrive soon, perhaps an hour. You will remain Marie. Every gesture, every word, every acknowledgement of your position. I won't tell them you're not who you say you are, and I don't expect you will either." Marie exhales, heart still racing but steadying herself. The horror of exposure lingers, but so does the exhilaration of surrender. She adjusts her heels slightly, straightens her back, and waits, ready for the next step. The doorbell rang. The guests arrive. Marie stands in the hallway, posture immaculate, hands folded. Hannah is just behind her, eyes sparkling, a small, amused smile on her lips. "Go on then, Marie," Hannah says softly. "Greet them." Marie looks Hannah's in the eye for a final push. "Yes, miss," she whispers, heart racing. She steps forward, clip, clop, each step echoing through the hall. A subtle announcement of presence and submission. At the door, she opens it carefully, tentatively. Two of Hannah's friends step inside, chatting softly. "Good evening, ladies," Marie murmurs, voice quiet, formal, slightly reverent. Her head dips slightly in acknowledgement. The words, deliberate and polite, mark both submission and attentiveness, and Hannah's eyes light up with pride. Hannah steps forward, letting the guests take in the sight of Marie. "This is Marie," she says casually, playful. "She'll be taking care of us tonight." The friends glance at Marie, noting the black dress, crisp white apron, low heels, hair framing softened features, and her still stance. Marie lowers her gaze, silent, disciplined. Hannah beckons the guests through to the lounge to relax. Marie follows behind. The guests chat and laugh over a glass of wine, served by Marie, unaware of the power dynamic between her and Hannah. The atmosphere is delicate, formal, and slightly charged. Every glance, every whispered acknowledgement, every careful step reinforces the dynamic. Marie exists fully in her role. Hannah holds the authority, and the guests are witnesses to a subtle, intimate power exchange. Marie glances at Hannah briefly every now and then, silently seeking approval. Hannah nods almost imperceptibly. A shiver of satisfaction runs through Marie, her obedience affirmed, her surrender acknowledged. She continues her service, voice soft, movements deliberate. The scene hums with quiet rhythm, authority, ritual, and shared understanding. The dynamic is established, unspoken but palpable. Marie serves. Hannah observes. The escalation throughout the night. Marie moves quietly among the guests, tray in hand, heels clicking softly. Each whispered response marks submission and attentiveness. Hannah leans against the counter, arms crossed, phone in hand, eyes gleaming with quiet amusement. The guests sip their wine, chatting softly, waits patiently at the edge of the room. Hannah looks up at Marie. "Marie," she says lightly, voice playful but commanding, "would you mind introducing yourself properly?" Marie's pulse quickens. "Introduce myself," she whispers, glancing briefly at Hannah for guidance, wondering if Hannah is asking her to out herself. "Yes," Hannah says, eyes sparkling. "Tell them who you are and your role here." Formally. Hannah subtly films the scene on her phone. Marie swallows, takes a shallow breath, and curtsies. "Good evening, ladies. My name is Marie. I am here to serve you this evening," she murmurs, voice quiet, formal, reverent. Her posture is perfect, tray held delicately, heels planted firmly. Hannah's lips curve into a pleased smile. The verbal ritual, the formal address, the acknowledgement of her authority, all of it delights her. The guests glance at each other, impressed by the decorum, unaware of the full psychological weight of the ritual unfolding. Hannah leans slightly closer to the friends, voice soft and playful. Marie is quite meticulous. She notices everything. Every detail matters to her. And to me. Marie hears the words, stiffens slightly, and continues, head lowered, voice quiet. Each affirmation is deliberate, a verbal acknowledgement of both her role and Hannah's authority. The guests, charmed, smile politely. But the small ritual, the clipped heels, the careful movements, the whispered formal phrases, creates an atmosphere charged with quiet power and subtle tension. Marie exists fully in her role, completely observed, completely surrendered. A soft laugh escapes Hannah as she turns to her friends. "You know," she says, playful, teasing. "Marie is quite adaptable and willing. I'm sure she could be made her available for any social gatherings you're planning. The friends glance at each other, intrigued. One raises an eyebrow, a smile tugging at the corner of her lips. Available? She asks, voice curious, half amused. You mean, like a server? For events? Hannah's grin widens. Exactly, but a very particular kind of service, she says, nodding toward Marie. Meticulous, attentive, and very well trained. You'd be impressed. Free of charge too. I'll cover any expense. The other friend chuckles softly. Well, I have to admit, she does seem remarkable, almost enchanting. Marie hears the words, and her cheeks warm. She keeps her gaze lowered. Hannah smirks. Exactly. And she's entirely devoted while in the role. Watch carefully notice how she anticipates, how she moves, how she responds. She's been very well trained. She glances at Marie, who stiffens slightly under the observation, but continues flawlessly. Every gesture a ritual, every whispered greeting a verbal mark of submission. The guests exchange intrigued glances. One arches an eyebrow. Trained? In what sense? Where does someone even get training like that? Marie hesitates, a subtle flicker of tension crossing her face. She swallows carefully, balancing the tray. I've learned in different places. Mrs., she says, deliberately vague. Voice low and formal, tantalizingly close to revealing more, but carefully constrained. Hannah's lips curl in a small, knowing smile. The guests lean forward, curious, amused. Different places? One repeats, tone playful. Intrigued. You mean, like a school? Marie inclines her head slightly, voice soft. I have experience in attentive service, ladies. Every environment has its own lessons, she murmurs, the phrasing teasing, almost cryptic. Every word measured, every glance calculated. The guests murmur quietly, leaning back, impressed and fascinated. Remarkable, one says. I've never seen anyone so composed. Hannah chuckles softly, whispering to the guests. Marie is a rare talent. Observation, service, attention, she embodies it entirely. And she enjoys the role fully. One of the guests leans forward, curiosity evident in her expression. Hannah, she says, playful but intrigued. Tell me, can she cook as well? I'm hosting a lunch for some colleagues tomorrow, and her help would be perfect. Hannah's smile broadens with playful delight. Her eyes sparkle. Oh? She murmurs, voice low, amused. Perfect, you say? She glances at Marie, who stands ready, tray in hand. What do you think, Marie? She asks teasingly. I'll do as you ask, miss, Marie whispers softly, head inclined. Her heart flutters. She is tense, aware of the observation, the suggestion of exposure beyond the house, but her voice remains calm, formal, obedient. Hannah's grin widens mischievously. Perfect. She says, I could drop her off at your place tomorrow morning, say 10 am? Marie will be happy to cook, serve your colleagues, attend to your needs, and ensure everything is perfectly arranged, and leaving you with a very tidy kitchen afterwards. Marie stiffens, eyes widening just slightly. The idea of being observed outside this controlled environment sends a thrill through her, part fear, part excitement. She opens her mouth, almost to protest, then remembers her role, inclines her head slightly, and whispers. The guests murmur quietly, intrigued. Really? One says, leaning closer. She'd come to our home and do all that? Hannah laughs softly, playful, authoritative. Of course. She thrives in service, attention to detail, obedience. She loves it and will do exactly as you ask. She glances at Marie, who stands perfectly still, heels planted, gaze lowered. The guests lean back, intrigued, fascinated, and slightly charmed. They are witnessing a delicate, elegant dance of service, authority, and ritualized obedience, and Marie is both at the center and fully immersed in the performance. Guests depart the guests, gather their coats, chatting softly, murmuring their gratitude for a lovely evening. Marie moves quietly, tray in hand, heels clip, clop, every motion controlled as she collects the glasses and napkins. Good evening, ladies, she murmurs, voice formal, low, reverent, inclining her head as the guests leave. As the door clicks shut, Hannah turns to Marie, leaning casually against the door, arms folded. The hall is suddenly quiet, the tension shifting from sociable to a power dynamic. Marie, Hannah says softly, playful but firm, voice low. Things are going to be different from now on. She tilts her head, a small, knowing smile on her lips. You've seen how much I enjoy having you like this. The attention, the focus, the subservience. I love it. I think I might prefer it to your other side. Marie stands still, clutching her tray, her heels planted firmly, head slightly lowered. Her heartbeat echoes in her chest as she listens, absorbing Hannah's words. She'd never intended for any of this, but deep down, she was enjoying it. Hannah takes a slow step closer. I've already taken steps to encourage you on this journey, she says lightly, amusement in her eyes. Your only male clothes that were in my room? They're gone. You won't find them. And none of mine will fit you. She studies him carefully. You could change. You could leave. But I don't think you want to. Her voice softens just slightly. I saw what happened tonight. I saw how you stood, how you breathed, how you melted into her. A small smile. I think you want to spend more time as Marie, even if that scares you. Marie stiffens slightly, a shiver running down her spine. Her chest rises and falls rapidly. The words press against her, the reality settling in. She could protest, hesitate, resist, but the ritual, the obedience, and the thrill of surrender are already deeply ingrained. Yes, miss, she whispers, voice low, formal, reverent. The words flow automatically, as much an acknowledgement as a surrender. Hannah smiles, satisfied, eyes glinting with quiet power. Good, she murmurs softly. And tomorrow, you'll continue, fully. You'll serve, attend, obey, just as you did tonight. But now, every action, every movement, every gesture will matter even more. There'll be scrutiny, more than encountered today. But if you stay submissive, if you stay obedient, you'll do fine. Marie inclines her head slightly as she exhales slowly, absorbing what had just happened. She's both afraid and excited for where this might go next. Hannah looks Marie up and down, eyes soft but amused. Ready yourself, Marie. Tomorrow, it begins anew. But I know you're perfect for it. Marie considers refusing. The thought lingers. But then she lets go. Yes, miss.